Hello there, my name is Cedric, or Stupid You. I'm the creator of FreeGameFindings, and this is going to be another pretty strange video component for the FGF YouTube channel. AVerMedia, the first company I ever did an unboxing video for, is back with another promotion on FGF, or at least they were. With the release of Pokemon ZA, AVM were running some promo for their goodies, namely some capture card and dock combo products that support the Switch 2 and other similar platforms, kind of like the Steam Deck and things like that. The GC313, or the Extra Go, is a traditional docking station that would be quite familiar to a Nintendo Switch user. Imagine one of those, but it actually passes through 4K 60 and allows you to capture 4K footage as well, just straight on the product. Well, on the product to whatever, device you're gonna capture to. But it's basically a capture card inside of the dock. Well, we won't be looking at that one here. I'll actually be looking at an older version of the same thing, which follows a little bit of a different format. The GC313Pro, or the Elite Go. Imagine about the same thing as the last, but it is a wall wart style dock. Also works with the Switch 2 and other similar things. Can also pass through 4K 60, but can only capture at 1080p 60. This would be the point in which I would mention that you could win your own in the FGF giveaway, but this event is actually already concluded. But I was provided the review product, this one here, including the sweater. It's pretty nice. Later than had been expected. It still came in though, and I felt like it was appropriate for me to still take a look at it here, even if the event is over. Here's to future FGF cross AVerMedia promotions, just like the one that ended, just recently. Big thanks, of course, go out to AVM for supplying the promotion either way, and of course for mine. With that out of the way, let's unbox and try out my GC313. So because this event is already concluded and there's not a ton of, exact typical reason to go through this like I normally would, I'm kind of going to do this one a bit more fast and loose. So forgive me, I'm going completely off script, well, without a script rather, and just going to comment over the footage of me unboxing stuff that I did earlier on. Anyway, to start things off for my unboxing, we have this slightly mangled box that I took all the, the labels off of. Once popping it open, we see both a thing of fabric, I guess, but it's my hoodie, and the Elite Go itself. Taking a quick gander at the hoodie, I have a little bit of, some sort of loose thread right in the middle. Well, the middle of the band thing, whatever. But no biggie. A little bit of a peek into the future. I did already take care of that, kind of, sort of. But anyway, a nice, neat little hoodie, the same one that you actually would have been able to win in the promo. Congratulations if that applies to you, of course. Anyway, now it's time to get into my Elite Go. Quick note about this though. You might notice there's a little bit of, something smudging around on there, and the inside of the packaging might be a little bit off too. This is actually the sample they brought to, I don't know, some sort of convention. I think it was TwitchCon just recently. They didn't have another one available at the time to send to me. They were gonna try a couple things to do so, but part of why I got this late. But it wasn't that big of a deal. They basically just sent me the one they showed off on the floor. Anyway, jumping on into here, pretty basic box, and then a little bit of a guide that I'm holding upside down. Either way though, we get a quick gander at the Elite Go itself. Pretty neat little package here, showcasing some of the I/O at the front, and this kind of difficult to get out of here, but North American styled power port. Anyway, included in the box, and this will be typical, granted yours will probably be inside of the, sleeve proper, is an adapter for a couple other regions. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know which other regions specifically, but they look like that, and I'm sure if you are there, this makes sense to you. Pretty cool, happy that they include them. All right, moving along from those wall adapters, let's take a quick look at this cable. Fabric USB-C cable. I'm not exactly sure on the length. I will show off in footage later on that it did reach quite well, so I'm going to assume it's pretty decent. And a little bit of package information stuff. You'll probably want to pay pretty close attention to some of these pieces, namely the quick start guide. Anyway, quick and easy unboxing, not a whole lot for me to take a look at here, of course. We have the lovely AVerMedia hoodie. Big fan of this. I actually like this way more than I expected. And then the star of the show, of course, the Elite Go dock / charging hub / capture unit thing. Pretty cool little product. I'm excited to try it out. Now with it all unboxed, let's take a quick look at actually setting it up and trying it out. In my use case, it was pretty plug and play. The firmware was already up to date as high as it needed to be, so I didn't even really need to go and download anything. They do have some software that you can go and snag for sure, but in my case, I didn't particularly need it. After hooking things up into their proper ports and creating this absurd mess of cables connected straight to my wall, we can quickly see we have one cable going out to my phone, which I'm going to be casting to my TV, as well as capturing on my MacBook. There we'll have the TV repeating the image on the phone, and here, just for fun, I have this kind of mangled controller that I will be aiming to use in a little bit of Peglin on my device. Pretty immediately, this thing just works quite nicely. Obviously, yeah, I could have, I don't know, Bluetooth into the phone a little bit better, and maybe that would have been wiser than doing whatever I'm doing here with an extra couple cables, but it just was a good means of showcasing that I could directly plug the cable straight into the Elite Go and have it just pass through the device input straight to the phone. My phone here is quite underpowered, as you might expect, so there isn't really all that much to gain in terms of actual quality footage to capture here. Definitely would have been much better if I had, say, like a Steam Deck or a Switch 1 or 2 for that matter to try out, but this is a showcase of actually being able to run and capture mobile games directly, putting them onto my TV and capturing the footage on whatever machine I happen to have at the ready, which means you can make a fantastic mobile, or portable I guess would be a better way to put it, capture station for, you know, whatever needs you're needing to take part of. I could see it being pretty useful in a lot of office environments, to be totally honest, like a board meeting. I think that's actually part of their marketing material too. But you know, this is definitely a thing that still caters toward video gaming people and whatnot. Now, as I mentioned, my phone is quite underpowered, and the MacBook itself, I wouldn't really put a whole lot of value on for its capture capabilities. So just making sure that things work the way I'd expect them to work, I wanted to try it out on my actual machine too. Here we have just some stuff that I was playing back from my MacBook directly and capturing on my main PC with OBS. Didn't need any additional software, all was good, all worked out pretty nicely. The only thing that I'm noticing as a problem, quote unquote, is the fact that it is, you know, 1080p 60 FPS only. But that is exactly what the product is for, and if you're looking for something higher than that, then you need to go for a different one entirely, like the newer iteration of this thing, the Extra Go. But when it comes down to it, all things considered, this really is a pretty solid product. I like the portability. I find it to be something that will make a lot of sense, especially for those that are, I don't know, doing like content creation at a convention or something along those lines, where you only need to be capturing something at a maximum of 1080p 60. If that part of it is all fine for you, then that is fantastic and you're going to be pretty well set up. While I maybe didn't have the most appropriate tools and equipment to really test it out with, it does seem like this will be a pretty solid thing, especially so if you are already a huge fan and user of things like the Switch or the Switch 2 or the Steam Deck or whatever else. A capture card that captures USB-C. Hadn't really thought about that before, but yeah, I guess that would be pretty useful. And in all honesty, I could see it being kind of enough. Like many people already know, there's tons of users that just are fine with 1080p content as it is. So being able to still record at that ends up being quite solid, and doing so with something that is so portable to pair with whatever portable console or whatever you happen to be using as well, it makes a ton of sense. Overall, pretty good, big fan of it. I could see it being useful even just purely as a docking station that does the charging thing. Like, that is quite good. I was shocked to see that it did still give out very strong power output to both the MacBook and the phone that I was connecting to it for the demo content I showed earlier. Very happy with it, huge fan, and it has helped even more by the fact that you still can pass through even higher than that 1080p 60, so it is still pretty useful there too. Now all I need to do is get myself a Steam Deck and I'm ready to go. Alright, that was a little bit different than I am used to, but hey, I was still able to get through it. Thank you so much for watching. Huge thanks go out to AVerMedia for sending me the Elite Go here and this lovely sweater, letting me try it out and have a good time with it. Pretty cool. Excited to try it out a whole lot more, and it might even replace my pretty standard dock solution that I have going on already for when I use my MacBook at my desk. Pretty cool. Big fan. Oh, and obviously thank you to AVM for, you know, providing the giveaway that is already concluded. I hope you enjoyed this quick unboxing and review video of mine, and apologies again, of course, for posting it after the giveaway. Not how I would usually do these things, and certainly not what I aim to do, and don't aim to in the future either. Congratulations to the winners though, which is a neat thing to be able to say. Always happy with how these ones go. Anyway, I'm loving this thing so far, and I've always had a pretty positive experience with all the AVM stuff I've tried so far. Highly advise you go and check them out for the Go series or anything else that they have kicking around. Maybe even their hoodie. I like this thing a lot. I've been Cedric. Feel free to check me out on my personal stuff and keep an eye on FGF, of course. Thank you for watching and enjoy.